All right, so check this out. This one comes out of the New York Post. My landlord doubled my rent days before Christmas. I could be homeless by New Year's. Hey, today is still December 25th. Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you guys had a fantastic and amazing day. I really do. This story here is about a 28-year-old single mother and a registered nurse, an RN in Perth, Australia. And she says that her landlord more than doubled her weekly rent in a disastrous move just days before Christmas. She shares this on an emotional video on TikTok, speaking to her dire living situation, which could leave her and her son homeless by the new year. And this is exactly what we've been talking about for months now, about this great wealth transfer and ultimately the impacts that it's going to have on so many different people, so many different families, and it's going to be rapidly accelerating. And these problems are only going to get worse, okay? And I think the whole honeymoon phase, what we experienced in 2020, 2021 is over. It's done. Maybe a little bit of 22, but you guys know 23 was not necessarily easy, and it is continuously getting harder and harder and harder, more challenging, more difficult with inflation, no matter how they want to slice up the numbers and deliver this news. Wage increases and just the overall cost of living. It doesn't matter. This wealth transfer, the greatest wealth transfer we're going to see, or we have yet to see ever, is worldwide. This is a global impact. So please heed the warning signs and get ready, folks. Brooking began her video by revealing the harsh reality she's facing after residing in her rental home for the past 6 years, okay? And she explained her property was, until recently, a part of the National Rental Affordability Scheme, NRAS, aimed at reducing rental costs for low-income earners at least 20% below market rent. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to get a 20% discount on rent. That would be amazing. And she says that the house was recently sold and the new owners didn't want to go ahead with the same low income scheme. Now, this is really important because we are going to see real estate trading. We're going to see properties changing hands, okay? And it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. It doesn't matter. Any of that doesn't matter. And here's why. It's because this wealth transfer isn't just attacking us. It's attacking everybody. And those who may have been in a reasonably decent position trying to expand on their wealth and build wealth, build generational wealth, getting into real estate, investment properties, this, that, and the other. Well, here in the U.S., we know the challenges that we face with the housing market alone. But then in certain states like Florida, with the homeowners insurance and the homeowners insurance crisis, and on top of everything else, this is going to lead to distressed sales. Folks, again, who are not as financially secure and sound, or potentially worried or forced out due to all these increased and rising additional costs. And again, we talked about liquid assets and converting assets to cash, basically. Always keep cash on hand and know which investments are considered liquid assets, because cash is king, folks. Now, I did drop a link down below in the description for you that has the first part of the basics needed in order to stay safe and protected with the rise of the coming threat that we have been warned about in quantum technology, banking, and personal finance security. The U.S. government has warned us, and we should all take this very seriously, guys. Seniors, retirees, boomers, elderly are typically most at risk. So I just recently got word on the latest happening at the banks right now. And obviously, this isn't today because it's Sunday and the banks are closed, but the warning message is still the same. So here, let me tell you what I heard, okay? And when you have rising insurance, or you have medical insurance expenses, or you have to repay student loans, or you need to buy a vehicle, which all vehicles, the average price on a new vehicle is like 50,000. All these things add up. Food is expensive. Food is crazy expensive. So then maybe you found yourself in a situation where you're saying, well, I can't accept, a lower rate. Or maybe there was a subsidy from a government program similar to what this young lady has in Australia. But whatever it may be, real estate's going to trade. Real estate's going to change hands, and institutional buyers are going to continuously line up and scoop up these properties, possibly for pennies on the dollar, distressed sales, all cash sales probably. They don't care about interest rates. That doesn't matter to them. They've got the cash to do it, and potentially short sales or foreclosures. Some of these folks might have gotten mortgage forbearance during the pandemic, and now they got these unbelievably high balloon payments that they owe back to their mortgage companies that they can't afford. And this is all part of the great wealth transfer, okay? These folks do not care. They are ruthless, blood-sucking vampires, and at no expense to ruin the lives financially for any and everyone out there. Probably their own mother. If she can't make rent, you got to go, okay? The consequence of this decision was a staggering increase in rent, soaring from $200 to a crippling $430 per week. It doesn't matter how you slice it up. The numbers are still the numbers. The math is still mathing. That's over double. How many of you right now could afford or would even entertain the idea of paying your rent that you've had for 6 years and immediately paying double? I can tell you guys right now, I wouldn't be one of them. I would be moving out. Unfortunately, I would have to move out. And with that, unfortunately, not everybody has that luxury and ability to just say, pack up and go and find somewhere else, especially if you're looking for somewhere else that's going to lower your rent to 20% below the market value. But even at this double the rate, maybe this is part of a delayed response and reaction that they have been wanting to do. Again, there's going to be some folks out there who are saying, yeah, I haven't raised my rent in years, but now I have to. Why? Because my insurance costs have gone up. I've incurred assessments that require me to do maintenance and repairs and upgrades, new roof, HVAC, water heater, all the higher costs and most expensive upgrades, maintenance items that the insurance companies are requiring so that they don't have to pay for them. Now the owners and landlords have to pay for them, and everything to bring these folks up to code. Some of these condos had to be brought up to code, requiring substantial work. So now they're saying, okay, I'm not going to absorb that cost, so I need to raise your rent. And all of the neighboring properties are doing the same. So we're all collectively going to raise rent to a new market level. And unfortunately for the tenants, they're left holding the bag on that. And then it's like, okay, well, I'll just leave and go to a new construction build. They didn't incur the cost of maintenance and repair and renovations and modifications, but they did incur the cost of the new higher price of construction, labor costs, and to build. And they are also pricing these based on market values. So if you really found yourself in that situation, you would literally have to move probably 30, 50, maybe even 100 miles or more away to get out of that market to find a more affordable rental market. And then you have the issue of commuting to work, the cost of commuting, and or the opportunities that would possibly exist or not exist for employment and changing employment to closer to where you live, which odds are if you're moving to an area that has a lower cost of living, it's probably going to have a lower pay rate, lower pay scale, lower salary, lower compensation. And we'll look at this video here and listen to what this young lady has to say.
For the last 6 years. The house that I now is part of the NRAS scheme. Well, it was when I first started renting it. So they keep rent affordable for low income earners. But the house was recently sold and the new owners didn't want to go ahead with the same low income scheme, so they've chosen to increase the rent from $300, which is what I'm paying now, to $630 a week. I obviously can't afford to pay that. I feel so stupid doing this. I'm a single parent. Been contacting my real estate agent, trying to find somewhere else to go. My lease is up on the 1st of January and applying for houses, and I've been getting rejected for all of them. There was another rental available that was also part of the NRAS scheme. If you transfer from one NRAS property to another, it doesn't count as an existing tenant. So I'm a new tenant and there's different income limits. In my last email to the real estate agent, I think I said something along the lines of, I told her I have been applying for houses. I've been getting rejected for all of them. We're facing homelessness from the end of the lease because I can't afford to pay the $630. And her response to that was that if I don't vacate the premises by the 1st of January, then the owners can take me to court. I work as a registered nurse at one of the hospitals in Perth. I have a permanent contract. I just don't know what I'm meant to do at this point. This is literally so embarrassing. I have somewhere for Levi to go from the end of the lease if we don't find anywhere in between now and then. We need to find somewhere for our cat and dog to go. Rent a storage unit to put all our stuff in. Anyway, if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. I've been sitting here for 20 minutes now, so I better go inside.
And unfortunately, do you have any suggestions? Yeah, I do. Buckle up, buckle up, because this is the beginning, folks. I don't know. I'd love for you guys to comment down below. Is anybody else talking about this? I'm not here trying to monger fear or cause alarm or increase your levels of panic, stress, and anxiety. I'm literally here only trying to do what I've been trying to do since I began this channel. And that was to share this knowledge and information, the dialogue, and have the ability to have open discussion and conversation about what's happening, what we're seeing, and what we're likely to expect, and how to get ready and prepared for, okay? Because preparation, in my opinion, is going to be most important in regard to your personal finances, okay? Because that's how they are going to come after folks and try to wipe out large portions of the society and large portions of our economy and literally take any and all money away. Dollars, pennies, doesn't matter, fractions of pennies. They want anything and everything they can get their hands on, and then they want to stick it to you on the other side. And don't get me started on taxes, because then that's a whole nother ball of wax. You get taxed to work, you get taxed on your paycheck, you get taxed to live, you get taxed for basic expenses, and it's a never-ending battle and struggle. And I'm just kind of curious, how many folks out there are having these conversations that are legitimately talking about the serious problems that are going on right now and ultimately working towards forming solutions in the future that are going to produce meaningful change for people's personal finances? Because I have to say that I would be willing to bet a majority of the content that's being pushed out there is not, okay? And I don't think that that's going to be good in the long term, in just the next few weeks, next few months, because I'm telling you guys right now, 2024 is going to really make some people's heads roll and rattle and really kind of put people into a new perspective of holy shit. Oh man. So look, again, feel free, reach out, hit me up. My info is below. If you want to have a chat, if you want to talk about this for your own personal situation, that's perfectly fine. But I think it's really important that we have these conversations here for the general public, for the masses, for anyone and everyone who can come across this information to help them understand what's going on, not just here in the United States, but all around the world, because this is going to be a collective attack on this great financial wealth transfer, unbelievable, epic proportions. And I may be the minority for sure. I probably will get suppressed. YouTube probably won't share this, probably won't push this, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying. And I appreciate you guys for continuously tuning in, for all of your support, and for trying to help by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing these videos with as many people as possible. We need to help as many people as we can. BBC says the house prices to fall and rents to rise in 2024. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. And the reason I think that this is possible, there's a variety of reasons, but I do think that homeowners are going to find themselves in a situation where they have to get out for a variety of reasons. It could be because they are trying to put themselves in a more liquid position, or they found themselves up against a hardship that forced them out. Or even worse, they bought a house recently, they married the house, or so they thought, and dated the rate, and the dating experience with the rate is not working out. It's not panning out, and they really just can't afford it. Those houses are going to have to be sold quickly, and those prices are going to drop, okay? And in turn, they're going to become renters. And as the rent demand, the renter pool begins to increase, just like we saw the buyer pool increase when interest rates were low, when the pandemic was at its strongest, interest rates were low, and housing inventory was at a low, demand shot through the roof. And so did prices. I'm not saying that the values and the worth did as well, just the prices, okay? We are going to see that in the rent prices as well. And the news and the headlines and the stories everybody's pumping out that rents are dropping are manipulated in regard to how they want to share that data, because it's not across the board. There's certain pockets in certain markets that happen to drop by like a fraction of a percent over that specific month, year over year, and it's nothing. It's nothing in comparison to how much rents are going up or have already gone up, okay? And we're just going to continuously see this push. Most homes for sale in 2023 were not affordable for a typical U.S. household. And I think you'd have to earn somewhere near $150,000 to $200,000 just to qualify for most mortgages, and for most mortgages to finance most homes at the average 10% down payment, maybe 20% if you want to avoid PMI. But really and truly, most homes now, it's like a starter home is $1 million. So you want to think about that, how much that's going to cost, not to mention the maximum conforming amount for a mortgage isn't $1 million. So you're going to have to come up with a substantial amount of cash just to cover the difference, so you don't end up with a jumbo mortgage, because you don't want to do that. The great wealth transfer isn't $72 trillion, but instead $129 trillion, Bank of America says, B of A says, and the government gave most of it. Oh, look, you've probably heard about the great wealth transfer, and it says here, at the top of the ladder, just over a quarter of this wealth is held in financial assets such as real estate. No surprise there. And that is going to remain. But unfortunately, not for you and I, not for the average working class individual, unless we are paying attention, unless we are prudent, unless we are focused. And what's going to happen is, just like the young lady in Australia, most of the wealth is held in financial assets such as real estate. That will remain. And the new owners will keep it that way. And they will raise prices. They will raise rent. They will raise lease prices. No surprise there. At the bottom of the ladder, shocker, dealing with, or really not, being facetious here, guys, dealing with a hefty price tag for a college education, ensuring student debt. Many young adults graduated into a post-recession thorny job market, bouncing around to find a well-paying role. Good luck with that. Forced to tack on other gigs to make ends meet, which somebody just commented on a video I put up about their experience with Walmart Spark gig work, which exactly confirms a video that I put up months ago about Walmart Spark gig work. And I can show you the comments in that video and people are saying, Kevin, you don't know what you're talking about. Kevin, you're crazy. Walmart Spark, this, that, and the other. And literally today, the comment says, Kevin, you're right. Granted, it's a different person. You're right. The Walmart Spark has gotten oversaturated. They pay less. They pump you with more orders and they pay less overall. And then there's way more competition. The app doesn't work. It deactivates you. It kicks you out. It's impossible. And it's only going to get worse, folks, unfortunately. And I was trying to let people know that that was in the works. That was coming. And it wasn't to scare them. It was to prepare them. Okay. And forced to tack on other gigs to make ends meet, many still aren't seeing the fruits of their labor. A separate B of A report, Bank of America report, finds that the extra income isn't giving them much more spending power. The housing market is no rosier a scene. While some millennials have made up some ground and started to house hunt, many were pushed back to the last rung of the ladder when they were outbid by boomer cash offers. It's led many young adults to depend on their more financially stable parents to afford a house. No wonder most millennials and Gen Z feel the economy is hurting their ability to be financially independent and like they're failing and falling behind. And honestly, right now, if you want to be able to afford a home, you need to go to the bank of mom and dad because they're going to have the cash theoretically and a much lower interest rate in regard to investing in your property and the return that they would get on that over where their cash sits now in a retirement investment vehicle, but would still be below what the average mortgage rate would be for them or for you to finance that home. That's the bank of mom and dad, okay? That's relying on the more financially stable parents if that is an available option to you. Folks, look, I'm just sharing with you what's going on. None of this is made up. You can see it here on the screen for yourselves, and it's only going to get worse. They're coming for you. They're coming for us. They're coming for our money. They're coming for our wallets. The greatest wealth transfer we have ever experienced, we've ever seen in history is underway. And I don't want you guys just to be sitting ducks and not have a clue as to what's going on. Again, my info is below. Feel free, reach out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.
I can tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake friends gon' pop.